In this town and in the country, there are a lot of climate change skeptics. I mean, where do you think that comes from? And why don't you think, even though, 99% of the climate scientists say that, there's human cause of this, that the information and the science doesn't go through?
Well, it seems to be unique to America, the climate skepticism. As America's got quite a few things unique about it at the moment, but climate change is one of those things. And since now you have the Republicans running America, what we as business leaders are trying to do is to get the message across to those skeptics that even if you are a skeptic, it makes sense for America and the rest of the world to be powered by clean energy. I mean, I think even the biggest climate skeptic must like to breathe, their children to breathe clean air. So if we can power the world with the sun and by wind and by, wonderful innovations in batteries, we're going to create hundreds of thousands, millions of jobs. We're going to have clean air, and we'll have a fuel price, energy price globally, which is about half what the current energy price is. And it'll be like that forever. So whereas if we don't invest in clean energy and get out there and create those millions of jobs, fuel prices could be back up at $150 a barrel again. And in my opinion, we'll be polluting and damaging the world we live in as well.
But can any of those goals that you just outlined be achieved if the United States is not an active partner in all of that? I mean, you're a big supporter of COP21. But, I mean, who knows where the United States government is right now and whether it's in or it's out. But if the United States officially gets out of the Paris Agreement, can any of these goals be reached?
Well, the United States will be left way behind if it doesn't, keep the momentum going. And, I mean, China has got a clean energy revolution going on. I mean, millions of jobs are being created in clean energy. Europe's got a clean energy revolution going on. South America's got a clean energy revolution going on. Unfortunately, in America, 95% of business leaders believe in climate change and they want to do something about it. Most of the oil companies in America are investing heavily in technology that will be the technology of the future when the demand for oil disappears. So it's not going to be as easy, obviously, if you've got an administration that puts barriers up rather than encouraging it. But I think we've got to make it happen, and we've got to get to that carbon neutrality by 2050. One interesting thing that I learned yesterday was, James Hansen came up with this brilliant idea a few years ago, and that was put a tax on carbon, but give 100% of that tax back to people in their wage packets, and equally, right across the board. And there's a group of Republicans, George Shultz and others, who've taken up that idea and are pushing the White House right now to accept it. And if you can create a differential between carbon and clean energy, then it just gives the clean energy revolution, I think, a chance to move even quicker and even more jobs to be created.
Well, what you just said actually works perfectly with this question that just chimed in from Twitter, and that is, when it comes to energy alternatives, do you think there's a place for nuclear energy?
I think there could be a place if you think that politically could ever get through. I think that it's unlikely that politically it will ever get through, and therefore I think there's enough. I mean, the price of solar has come down so dramatically. The price of wind is coming down so dramatically. The price of batteries are coming down dramatically. And new innovations. I mean, we're working with Bill Gates and on a breakthrough energy coalition, looking at new innovations. And there are so many exciting new innovations coming through. So I think some of these things have a better chance, I think, than nuclear. Although nuclear, arguably, needs to be part of the equation.
So you have something called the Virgin Earth Challenge, and you started this in 2007, and it's a prize to a company. I want you to talk about it, because the point of this challenge is to come up with sustainable, scalable ways of removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. How many winners have you had? And if you could talk about one or some of the ideas that have come forward, have they gone to scale?
So the prize was, prizes can latitude was only discovered because of a prize. I mean, prizes. I mean, one of the reasons we're going to space is because of the X Prize and Spaceship One. So prizes can have a fantastic catalyzing effect. We set up the Virgin Earth Prize, a $25 million prize, to see if anybody could come up with a way of extracting carbon out of the Earth's atmosphere. And we wanted them to be able to extract enough carbon that would, basically solve the problem. So it was a big task, but just to get people thinking. And there's a lot of people who've put their mind to it. We've got sort of 10 organizations that we've been watching closely. Nobody's come up with the winning formula yet. It took 75 years for the Longitude Prize to be won. Hopefully it'll take a lot less. But in the meantime, this prize is there in case everything else fails. And in the meantime, I think we just got to get on and do the nuts and bolts of getting clean energy out there. There are many new technologies that are being developed. We built a plane a few years ago called the Virgin Atlantic Global Flyer, 100% out of carbon fiber, to show Boeing and Airbus that carbon fiber should be part of the mix for aeroplanes. And when it successfully flew non-stop around the world with Steve Fossett piloting it, Airbus came to where we'd built it, and as a result, I think, partly as a result of that and other things, you've got the 787, you've got the A350 planes, which are 50-60% carbon fiber, and that means we're saving 20% fuel burn on them. We're now working with Manchester University and others on graphene. Graphene is maybe 9 times lighter than carbon fiber. It's maybe 9 times stronger, very roughly, than carbon fiber. You can't use it in quite the same way as carbon fiber because it's incredibly thin. But you can mix it into the mix, and so future planes, hopefully, will then be another big step forward and much lighter.
So you've mentioned space, you've mentioned airlines, 2 subjects that I want to get to, but before I do that, I want to ask you about the assertion that we heard over and over and over again here in this country that coal is coming back, that we're going to bring the coal jobs back. You firmly believe that renewable energy will win the day.
Well, I mean, I can't think of anything more stupid than to talk about bringing coal back. I mean, actually, there are some things which are even more stupid. But anyway, first of all, digging coal is a pretty horrible job. It kills a lot of people that work in coal mines. Most countries have got rid of that now, and the people who were digging coal in coal mines are now putting solar panels on people's roofs. Working on creating windmills, and a whole new revolution of new jobs is being created. America should be setting an example to other countries that are still reliant on coal. That show that you don't have to be reliant on coal anymore. Fortunately, China that was building a new coal power station every week, are now moving rapidly towards clean energy, and obviously they have dirty energy in their face. I mean, the coal, if you go into Beijing and other places, you can hardly see. So they have another incentive as well.
Would you say that China's leading the renewable energy revolution?
Yeah.
Or is that too...
Oh, no. China is definitely leading the clean energy revolution today. I mean, they've already, I would say, overtaken America. And the reason that, we are, the clean energy revolution is really taking off now is the price they've managed to drive solar panels down. I think on some of the more technical things like battery power, America is still ahead, and Europe. As far as just replacing dirty energy, China, I would say, is moving the quickest.